Hello, good evening, and a very warm welcome to Rangers Radio. Hello, good evening, and welcome to Rangers Radio. Tonight we're going to be talking about, was the manager right in his comments at the weekend? How did the team fare in your eyes, and was it acceptable enough to go to Fir Park and get a draw? Also, we've got a big European game tomorrow night, and also the new signing, Oliver's in the door and signed a contract. So that'll be some of the discussions we'll be having tonight. And joining me tonight to have these discussions with myself, Southside, is Robert and the legend that is the Bridgeman. How are you, Robert?
In the Southside, I'm alright, mate. Hope you're well yourself. Good to be on with yourself and Bridge.
Aye, Bridgeman.
Oh, what can I say? Good evening. Good evening to everybody. Good evening, particular Southside and young Robert there and the techie boys in the background. Can I just say to all the Rangers fans listening in all over the world, good evening. Welcome to Rangers Radio.
Aye, how are you, Robert? Recovered?
Just, mate, just. The good thing is we've got a game tomorrow night, as you said, to try and get over it quickly, to be honest with you. Seems to be that new team, new era, but same Rangers first day of the season. So I think we've had this story before. Hopefully it's got a different ending.
Aye, hopefully. Bridge?
Yeah, that's the exact same. I was just thinking myself. It's like reading a book again, isn't it? You know, so you open the book, it's the same book, same information, same everything. First game of the season, dreadful. And we're leading 1-0, you know. And I'm thinking, well, okay, Motherwell are going to attack because they've got nothing else to do. They've got to attack us. But we just faded away to nothing. Actually faded away to nothing. So, hard luck. No saying that Motherwell were any good or anything like that, but I think we let ourselves down pretty badly.
Aye, when you seen the team, Robert, that started, I know some of these picked teams. It wasn't my starting 11 from when I last spoke, but it was probably the more predictable, I thought, for what had started of late. So, were you really surprised?
Not really surprised, mate. As you said, it almost was the most predictable lineup. I was pleased that Gassama got a start, but I didn't think he would have come in for Curtis, if I was being honest. I thought Dowell might have dropped to the bench, but it seems that Martin's a favourite of Dowell. I know there's a lot of opinions out there on the boy himself, but he wasn't the worst on Saturday, that's for sure. But predictable in a sense, mate. Obviously, we've had a few incomings since the game, so the team might look different tomorrow night. I'm hoping it is, but from what you've seen on the team sheet, you still expected a better performance and a better result from what we got.
Aye, I take it you were the same, Bridge. I take it you thought probably Gasman was coming in, or did you think maybe Dale would have dropped it?
Personally, I wouldn't have played Dowell. I personally wouldn't have played Dowell. It's just simply because of some of the poor performances. And the parts of the game yesterday, Dowell was prominent. But most of the others, particularly going back the way, continuously fouling, giving free kicks away because he can't catch the guy. The guy's away from him. And he just does the old thing. Gives us a break, of course. But the truth of the matter is you can see how woeful it is when someone does that. But see if you see somebody doing that to one of your players, that you're really angry at it. You know, look at that. That's a professional foul. That's a yellow card right away. And I think he did get yellow carded. But seriously, and just his defensive part of his game just wasn't there. And no legs at all for running back. No legs. That's what it looked like to me. But other than that, I think we got what we deserved yesterday. We didn't do anything to put more into it in the second half that everybody expected and wanted. It just wasn't there. So unfortunately, they managed to score a goal. It wasn't a great goal by you. It was a goal. Wow, what a downer that was. For all you guys that were there, seriously, if you're watching that and you're thinking you're biting your nails anyway to get us to the end and get away with our 3 points. Wow, dear oh dear. It must have been tough. It was tough to watch on the TV thing, you know. My God, just my God.
Aye, sorry, I should have actually said good evening to all the troops that are on YouTube channel tonight joining the show, and everybody else out there on Facebook and Twitter. Good evening, welcome to the show. Robert, I thought we started off okay for the first maybe 20 minutes or something like that, although we weren't creative enough up the front. We did one or two get it up forward, but we passed it about into the wee sort of angles and shapes that he was looking for, without being penetrating up the other end. But there was some nice passing, and for about the first 15-20 minutes I thought, all right, we've settled down now and we're starting to make passes.
We did, mate. We looked a bit comfortable, and maybe we got a bit too comfortable, which obviously let Motherwell kind of come back into the game after the opening 20-25 minutes. But obviously the last couple of games we've seen, the passing's not been on point. It's been poor slack passing. So we did see, as you said, good bits of movement and passing to go up the field. It was just in the final third that we didn't really do anything. And we know, as Ox always says in this show, it's fine having the ball, it's what you do with it that matters. And we just didn't do enough in those opening 20 minutes to try and capitalise on anything. There was nothing really clear cut. It was nice to watch, but again, it was that kind of cutting edge that needed to be finished off at the end, but it just never came.
Bridge, you feel the same? Did you feel the same? We sort of maybe, well, the pressing was good.
I was really hopeful for this game, and I thought we were passing it. Both teams were playing a very fast passing game, and I thought we were, shall we say, better at it for a wee while. And then, as Robert says, there, kind of just dropped out for some reason or other. Maybe the tempo dropped, I don't know. But my goodness gracious, when we do get it right, it's brilliant to watch. And your pride jumps up, you know, and your team are running, doing that, right, run them down and splitting them in two and all that. But see, when it doesn't go right, my God almighty, we don't have to punish ourselves, you know. Continuously losing the ball or really poor passes. Some of them red cross balls, you know. We wonder how some of the players survive these things. But that's what I think anyway. I think maybe for 20 minutes in the first half, I thought we did quite well. But after that, I think we just seemed to lose the momentum that we had already done. Yeah, that's the way I feel. Sorry about that, pal. I just feel that way.
No, we were all feeling different emotion coming out the stadium on Saturday. And there was a lot of talking points and a lot of people with a lot of opinions and listening to people. And also the chat with the troops on the bus on the way back, you know. But I thought we started all right. And like I say, it was our press that actually forced Motherwell into again as a corner. And it was a bit bizarre because one of the centre-backs sort of had it in the left-hand side of the 6-yard box. He tried to play it across it and ended up kicking it out for a corner, which led to our corner, which led to Tav. It was a good leap for Tav. I'd said for ages, if Tav's not taking corners, get him in the box because he can leap. But we never used to put him in. If he didn't take the corner, he would normally be outside the area. But it was good to see that we had him in there, and it was a good leap. First when I seen it, Robert, thought goalie might have actually got it. I know he had headers it done, but it was enough to get us over the line, and it was a good start, and I thought hopefully we can build for there.
Aye, you're right. When I first seen it, I actually thought it took a nick and went past the keeper, because I actually thought the keeper was going to get it. But I suppose Tavernier does everything right. He headers it down into the ground. Raphael puts the ball in, and you're just waiting for somebody to go and attack it. Again, I can't remember who it was in the other show the other night. We're talking about John Suter being this kind of aerial threat in the box. He's always above or below the ball. He's never kind of right on point in the game. And you see the highlight back, you see that he goes up for it, but he's nowhere near it. But Tav is there at the back and does what he needs to do. There's enough on it. As I say, I think the powers and the cross itself. But again, we kind of deserved that lead, Southside. As I said, the first 20-25 minutes we played well, just didn't take the chance. But when that one came, we would obviously welcome that. It's certainly a good start when you can start scoring set pieces again. So maybe they're a thing that's going to be present in the games going forward for us, hopefully.
I thought a wee bit better, I think, at set pieces in opposing area. I think we've tried a few things, Bridge, in the last 3 games that we've seen. But Tav was well up there on Saturday. It was a good leap and it was a good header.
Yeah, absolutely. I love Tav when he's getting into the back post. He's invariably going to be there or thereabouts, you know. And if it's maybe even it's just to push it back across again. But I thought he rose well and met the ball nicely, and down it went and into the net. I thought it was just magic. And when you see it back slow, it's really brilliant to watch, you know, really brilliant. But that was the best part of his game. After that, he seemed to kind of die out of the game, truth be told. But then most of us did at that time. Most of our players did at that time. With great goal, we're 1 up, and I'm thinking this is it. And if you want to, I'm saying to the players, if you want to, shut the back door. Shut the back door, get your defensive midfielders in a line and say, that's it. Don't come past the halfway line until we push you up. Stay in a line and do what you've got to do. But we never did it. Unfortunately, we didn't do it. We got overall, we got absolutely mauled by Motherwell. Absolutely mauled. Late on the second half, they got their goal and they could have scored another one, truth be told. And it was, I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy. I'm still not happy, so I'm sorry.
I just had a message in for John Purdy, a warm welcome to Glasgow Rangers to Lynn Crichton. She's been named as the new ladies' head coach for the women's team. I've seen it announced earlier on. Don't know if any of the 2 of you caught it.
Who's she? Elaine Crichton?
Leanne, she used to play for Glasgow City. She's been on. She used to do a bit of punditry and that on the telly and Saturday badges and stuff.
I know the name now. Yeah, absolutely, bud. And welcome.
I've seen that earlier myself, mate, as well. Seen that. I think she was actually the assistant at Glasgow City as well when she finished doing a playing side. And as you say, she's done a punditry work and came to us as the new head coach. So good luck to her.
Right. But back to the game, obviously we went 1 up, and I thought then hopefully we could build on it. We had a nice wee bit of passage of play in the first half, Robert. It was about 4 or 5 passes, and it ended up with Gazima just putting it by the post. It was fizzed in for Rothwell, and he took it, and it was all at one touch, and we just cut Motherwell apart in 4 or 5 passes. I think the 5th pass was the Gasman just putting it by the post, and you can see that if they move the ball quickly, you can see what's happening, but it just felt like yesterday, for long spells, they weren't moving the ball quick enough. We certainly weren't, because we weren't creating, like that was how easy it was to create that chance. But it was very seldom we've seen anything like that during the whole 90 minutes.
As Brisman said, it's always good to watch when you see the one-touch passing from one end of the pitch to another. And when you can split teams like that, it's when you're wanting somebody on the end of it just to tap into the back of the net. All the goals don't need to be wonder goals. You can work your way around the pitch and pass it nice and neatly and just have a tap in. They all mean the same. It's all a goal at the end of it. I think, obviously, Gasma's unlucky. I think, again, if it's a couple of games in, more match fitness under his belt, he maybe puts it away, or it's a natural striker. But the build-up, you can see the ideas and the style we want to do. And we know in this league, if you pass the ball quickly, there's not many players that will be able to keep up with the speed of the ball. And we've certainly got players with pace that can do it. And we've got technical players that can do the passing as well. So we just want it to all click together over the time. And unfortunately, it didn't kind of pan out the way we wanted to on Saturday. And we've just got to kind of keep going. If that's the style and ideas that Russell Martin's wanting to play and continue on the pitch, then we're going to create these chances. But as I said, it's just that clinical final third, which I suppose it's no surprise to say that we're seeing it again. And I know it's only 1 game in, but you start looking at that going, that's the area we probably need to still strengthen in the rest of the window.
Aye, I was looking at it. Obviously, they've got Hassegard to come in, and I think he'll be the creative sort of spark, because I don't think Nico, as much as he'll get forward, but he's not likely to beat two men or commit them and that. And Diamonde just hasn't got to the races at all at the moment under Russell Martin. His 2 European performances were poor. A lot poorer than what you'd expect, because last season Diamondi in Europe was good. I know he took 2 suspensions, but he used to break the play up. He'd go on the ball. He'd get fouls. He would take the fouls that was coming to him. He would try and burst forward. Not seen any of that, Bridge, at the moment under Russell Martin.
No, it's disappointing for me from my perspective, because I was one of the guys that heralded him. I thought he was a smashing player with a lovely left foot, and if he gets near the goal and it hits his left foot, there's a good chance it's going to go in, a superb chance it's going to go in. I liked him. I think he's one of the better players we've got in the team. But my goodness gracious, the way he's been playing the last 2 games, in all honesty, he seems to get struggle a wee bit now. You know, whereas I'm thinking, well, give him the ball, and he can move, and he get caught in the ball a number of times, which is unusual for me anyway. And I thought, no, what's he doing? He just kept getting caught in the ball. But then he was not alone in the Rangers team, not alone.
Well, no, I think Diamandi's, and all the time that I've watched him, he's hard working, he's full of energy, he gets you up the park, he can tackle, like I said, for watching him. But I don't think his passing's that great at times, Robert, or the piece when you watch him. And I don't know if he's suited to wee tight passes in situations, the wee 1-2 give and goes. And I don't even know if he's really understanding or finding the position that he's in, because he's not really in the game much. You know, and Saturday was another example. When he went off, I wasn't surprised that he got took off, because he wasn't in the game at all on Saturday.
That's the thing with Diamondi. When he is involved, you can see his technical ability and his, as you said, his work rate and his effort. He's a really good footballer, but when he does not play up to the level that we know he can, you notice it majorly, especially in the middle of the park, because effectively you're almost like a man down. If somebody's putting in 50 or 60% effort, your other 2 players beside you are going to have to do that work rate, and that's when you notice it. And there has been a lot of games, if you look over the piece of his Rangers career, that he's stepped up and played well, but there's also a lot that you can say didn't see him much, didn't really do much, maybe not got on the ball, maybe he's doing dirty work, you may not notice it as much, but he's a player that I think frustrates a lot of fans, because there is ability there. It just doesn't seem to be, as we said, what we've seen so far this season, consistent enough to be on the same as last season. And again, is it down to the style, as you're saying, the position that he's asked to be playing now, the role he's been asked to play? And that's what's going to interest me going forward, Southside, is when Asgard comes into the squad, Ant-Man, Moore, where did all these players fit in? How do we set up when they're all fit and available? And I'll be honest, I think Diamondi is possibly one that might be dropped for one of the players. I actually think he might be dropped tomorrow night for Lyle Cameron, if I'm being honest. And it wouldn't surprise me if he was.
Can I come back on that one?
Aye, on you go, Bridge.
I was just going to say, I quite like the thought of the young boys for Dundee, but I don't think we should be dropping any existing players. If they're going to be in the squad, shouldn't be dropping them for a European game. We just shouldn't. Diamondi's not too bad. He gets in the right areas of the pitch. I just don't see Lyle Cameron being any better than Diamondi. I don't see it. But I've been wrong before, many times, of course. I don't like to see it. You know what you're talking about, and I don't.
Well, I'll tell you what, we've got lots to talk about. We've got lots to get through. We'll quickly get through this second half of the game, and then we can move on. We can talk about what the manager said. I think we've got a wee interview for Lyle Cameron coming up as well. We can listen to hear what he had to say. Obviously, we've got the game tomorrow, so hopefully we'll get a few callers in or whatever. Pacer sent in a voice message saying that Diamondi has no composure. He's an immature player. So that's his assertion of him. What do you think of that, Robert?
Composure at times, you can see that he kind of lacks on the ball. As Bridge said, he lost the ball a few times, which is unlike him. He's got ability. It's just not been there with what we've seen this season in the pre-season games and the European games, and obviously Saturday. So I think we always compare it to what we've seen previously, and it's just not stepped up to the mark yet, which can be said for a few players.
Aye, so obviously Jack Butland gave us a wee scare in the first half. He sort of fumbled one, and he was actually done sort of on his knees when the wee player, number 9, stepped in and had a shot, and I didn't realise it until I'd seen the game back later on, because I suffered the game back to see if it was as bad as what I thought it was. And I thought first half we weren't great, we weren't brilliant, we weren't great, but we done better than we did that second half, Bridge. That second half was absolutely atrocious when it started, eh?
Oh, murder post. And you know, I have to say, I worry about Rangers, and I worry myself about them. You know what I mean? I get all worked up because we're not able to do and think. It looks as if some of the players just aren't thinking, you know. You're going forward here, and what we'll do is I'll take this ball forward 30 yards and I'll pass it out left, and that's what they're thinking before they even start, right? But when they get up there, the guy's not there out in the left. You know, he's maybe moved into the middle, but the ball goes out there. Oh, I tell you what, Southside, you've seen it a million times. We can't take a throw in. Oh my God, we must be the worst team in the league with throw ins. We can't hardly ever find our own man. Oh, so all these things, for me, it's all about possession and retaining it or losing it. If you retain it, great chance of moving with the ball. And we're quite good on the move. When we're on the move, we're quite good. It's when we're not on the move, we don't seem to be able to know what we're doing. I'm not going to say any more. I'll start slagging them in a minute.
Aye, I don't know how I thought second half Robert would have come out here, had a word with him at half time. But I'll be honest, as the game went on, I think a group of our players tired. I think the game for the Wednesday, as much as some people might argue, well, you're getting your fitness up and you should still be able to go. He played the nucleus of the team bar one. And I just think certain players in the team tired as well during that second half. I know he's questioned some players for their lack of running and stuff, but I do believe I think some of them did tire.
I agree with you, mate. Again, you can be fit, but you can not be match fit. And I know that might not make sense, but there's a massive difference to being able to withstand the pressure and the intensity of a game compared to a pre-season game against Middlesbrough, Bruges, or behind closed doors. It's only the third competitive game, and I think that's maybe due to the pre-season schedule we had, that it wasn't many more kind of open to the fans kind of stadium games that we had, so that they could feel the energy, feel the anticipation in the crowd, and try and get that extra bit of energy about them. You can definitely see there was tiredness on the side, and they kind of came in key areas of the park, which again we had to make the subs. And I think that's also something that when they're bringing players on, if the players on the park are not fully fit to play the 90 minutes, the players who are on the bench, they're deemed not fit to start a game. So we're trying to come into a game that's already kind of fast-paced, high-intensity pressing and passing. It's a lot to ask for the substitutes as well. So it all kind of marries into one piece that comes down to fitness. And the only way you're going to get more match fit is to play more games, and that's why we've got the luxury of games coming around thick and fast, but team selection's going to be pivotal.
I mean, I'm not saying that's 100%, but I've been at the game and watching it. I thought, Bridge, when we were there, I just thought some of your players looked tired now. Motherwell obviously upped the level a bit in pace at the start of the second half. But I just thought our three midfielders definitely in the middle of the park, because they were hitting us down the flanks, which was Dowling and obviously Tav side. They were coming down because we got a couple of warnings early on in the first half, Bridge. A free kick to the back post that took a goalkeeper out, and the boy headed it by the post. And then they come down the flank the second time, and the boys just more or less muscled Dowell at the road. And he managed to take a right foot shot. It was the one when Suter had to slide in the 6-yard line, if you remember it, but he took a boot because the Motherwell striker was coming in. But the boy just physically and with a bit of pace eased our players out the road.
Yeah, I think we're so weak in our team at times, you know. And that exactly your description of that is absolutely spot on. And well done to Suter. I'm not his biggest fan, but that was an enormous block, absolutely brilliant. And he actually managed to get his foot to the ball. Just tremendous stuff. Another big centre half to do the same, but we give up so much space. And young Robert was saying there about the fitness and match fitness. From my experience, when you're doing your pre-season, if you don't get your pre-season training, you better go running in the roads or something like that for 10 or 15 mile, because seriously, you need to be fit. But you need to be fit before you get into the games, and that's where you get your match fitness. You know, the quick training, you know, the sort of tags and so on and so forth. It's all there. It's every player goes through it, and you know, in your pre-season friendlies, you know, you always have a number of close games, wee daft games, bounce games among yourselves, all that going on. But there's going to be actual games going to get played, and that's when you start to build up your match fitness. And if you're no semi-match fit at the time the season's ready to start, you're in trouble. And some of your players were in trouble. That's what I think's happening with us. We're no match fit at all. Some of them are just poor. I'm really, really can't believe Raskin. I don't know whether it was just the position he was playing in, but you know, he just didn't seem able to go that extra yard, which he normally does. And he very rarely ventured up, and he does long bursting runs. No, in the second half, we didn't do it. No longer. So that's what I think anyway. Well said, Robert. I enjoyed what you said there, pal, about
that. Aye, listen, it shouldn't be an excuse. It's because it's early in the season. I know players are trying to go up fitness. Rothwell, I didn't think would play the whole 90 minutes, but Motherwell were strong down their left-hand side. They certainly caused us problems, and that's the route they went down till eventually they get the goal at it. Jack Butland made a really good save with the one that we talked about earlier, Bridge, about Suter sliding in. Yeah. But they were troubling us, Robert, down the left-hand side, and eventually, before the end, they get the goal. Again, Dowell and Tav probably should have done better. I know when they tries to cross it, it gets cuts out and the ball hits Cortez after that. I believe bounces up and the boy chesties it, and then obviously the boy can drill it into the far corner. It's a good strike, but we've got our captain standing with his hand up looking for offside, and it was just a shambolic goal to lose.
Never offside, by the way. Never offside, the guy.
I'll go back to what Bridgeman said earlier on about taking professional fouls. If you watch the highlight back, when the boy goes past Dowell with ease, all you've got to do there is tug that jersey, and although it gives them a free kick that they can lump in the box, it takes away that kind of attacking immediate threat down the left-hand side that, as you said, they've worked on. They've clearly seen what we've done with the inverted wing-backs and used the flanks as an area for their strength and our kind of weakness to exploit the space. But if Dowell takes that foul, in my opinion, they don't get the goal and we come away with a 1-0 victory. I know it's hard to say that when you don't know what's going to happen next, but you can only judge it on what's happened in the game. If that foul's done by Dowell, he takes a foul, again, the likelihood is they don't score. And that's what I'm looking at over the whole goal involvement of the players that were in that area. And then obviously the ball breaks, there's no quick reaction. The player that scores is actually on the ground and gets up and hits it before one of our players react. And by that time, it's too late. It's in the back of the net. It's one each. There's just no quick reaction from anybody in the box. But for me, Southside, that you could stop it at source out in the wings.
Aye, well, that's where we looked vulnerable, I thought, on Saturday, especially down the right-hand side. And eventually we get punished. And that's just how it was. And if you can't, we're looking at it and watching it, the manager's watching it, players we get out muscled and we get out fought. And that's what I couldn't take. But I did think a contribution to that fact was some of the players might have been tired for the game on the Wednesday in the heat. They travel back, the game within less than 48 hours after at the time you travel home and stuff. And some of them looked a bit leggy, I thought, and he wants them to run about and use the work rate, Bridge. and I think some of them were struggling. And I think that's why the three midfielders eventually come off, because I think they'd ran their race. Danilo looked as if he'd ran his race. And I thought these subs had to be made. Dell, I thought you could have took off at any point in the game. And eventually the gas man in and out the game in the first half, non-existent really in the second half, and could have took him off at any point as well. So there's loads of players that he could have changed, and I think some of them was due to just tired for the game on the Wednesday night. It's the only way I could think of it, that some of them did tire slightly, and then that ended up why the work rate dropped off.
Yeah, 100%. That's exactly what was going on. These games, the game they had the midweek, an enormous game, absolutely enormous game, and they gave their all and worked hard, really worked hard, and that soon takes it out of you, because you've only got maybe 4 days before you've got to start really training again, and if you don't make it down to 3, and then you're just not exhausting yourself and knackering yourself. That's what happens. That's football. It just shows you. We did the same thing last season. We weren't ready. We never got all the players in that we wanted in. In fact, I think we were really into the tail end of the window before we got players in. And then you had to wait for them to be match fit. And that's what was happening to there. These players that we've got in now, we should have had them. It would have been better if we had got them in at the start of the window, And I don't know whether it was open or in England or not. I don't know what it was that stopped us. But we ended up with these guys, and some of them aren't quite match fit yet, because they need to do this. We're going to be playing in the European Champions League, and way before the season starts, way before the season starts. And there you go, it happens. And we've got some of the players, we're using the same players every week. That's what I see. We're using the same players every week, because the ones we've got, I've just brought them in. They're not quite ready yet, or whatever. I just don't see it. Sorry, I just don't see it. They need to get the guys as fit as possible and get them on the park quickly. Because you're going to ruin people's careers. They're not fit enough to do all that. I'm looking forward to see what they're going to do tomorrow night. Truth be told, I'm a bit worried.
Don't be worried, Bridge. We'll come on to that. We'll come on to the game tomorrow night. I'll tell you what, we're going to play. It's broadcastable, I've been told. So Dougie the Bear has sent us a voice note. So we're going to play that, and then we'll get the phone lines opened. Okay. So let's hear what Dougie had to say.
Evening, guys. It's Dougie here. I've got a question. If Russell Martin doesn't change the team after his rant post-match on Saturday, does that make him look weak, or is he making a rod for his own back? Cheers, guys.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972? It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Well, Robert, what do you think? Does he look weak? Is what Dougie was asking. I know he's explained it. He had done a press conference today, and probably, I don't know when Dougie sent that in, but today I know he's sort of come out and explained it a bit better when they asked him about dropping players or whatever. But what do you think of it? He had to say.
Great question from Dougie. I don't think it makes him look weak. I expect there to be changes tomorrow night, Southside. As I said, I think Diomande will be one of them. Again, we can touch on later on the show how the team might look. It's an interesting one, because once your manager comes out and say that, the players will know already, before he came back in that dressing room, or even before he done the interview, who he was referring to. They'll know themselves when they walk off the park, if they've done enough, or they should do. If they don't, then you need to ask the question, the mentality and the responsibility playing for the club. But I don't think it makes them look weak to say. I think it's also a marker for the players that he's come out and said it. and basically asked him to show a bit more. Otherwise, there is no messing about. And he seems to be the kind of manager that, if you look at the ones we've had previously, didn't really do it that way. So it's interesting to see how it does pan out over the coming games. You'll know with changes, what players it was mentioned or who's the conversation with, but it's a risky one. If I'm being honest, it's still risky. But I think he's basically given the players the marker that he's a manager, and no matter who you are at the club, how long you've been there for, there's changes that can be made, and we've brought in players that can do it. There's people eager to get a chance and show what they can do, why they've been brought to the club. So I don't know, risky, but I don't think it makes him look weak. I think it's a marker.
I agree with you, Robert. I agree with you on that. It's risky. I personally think that I agree with you. Dougie, it was a brilliant question, and typical of Dougie, it's a real teaser because I'm not Russell Martin's greatest fan, but I want to give him a chance. He's come out and said some things, and some of it a lot negative. And if he doesn't do, just as Dougie says, what's he going to do? What are we going to think him if he doesn't? So if he wants to change players, then I would expect to see 2 or 3 changes to the team if that's the way he was meaning it. However, we'll see. But I get a brilliant question nevertheless. I'd like to hear what Southside thinks of that.
No, I think he'll make 1 or 2 changes. That wouldn't have been my team that he picked on Saturday. I would have made a couple of changes within that team before it started. But he went with the team that he picked. I think Wally dropped players that he might have criticised for his interview the day in the press conference. No, I don't think he will. The way he referenced it and the way he spoke about it when they asked him about it. But he will if he thinks that the players aren't taking on board or what he's saying. And I think he's come out and put the marker down. So he told you at the start, and listening to Barry Ferguson saying that I spoke to him, and the minute they crossed the white line, they done the exact opposite. Heard Clement come out and probably try to defend things when things weren't going right. Maybe players were chucking it. I told you on here, I've watched players hide beside players on the park. Russell Martin's referenced that he's saying that he don't want the ball when times are going hard, so they just go and stand in beside people. And that we've watched all that. Managers have come out and said bits, but he's come out and nailed it. So there's Stephen Gerrard had non-negotiables when he started, and I bet you if you weren't running and working hard in his team, he would have had you out. So it's no different. I think we tired a bit as a team, but at the end of the day, he's seen it through his eyes, and his eyes was the team weren't working hard. I'll tell you what, Dave, we've got a wee interview with Lyle Cameron because he might be one of the players that might come in tomorrow night, and we can talk about that. So if you 2 guys would like to hit me out, we'll hear what Lyle Cameron had to say today.
Well, how are you finding your first few weeks at Rangers?
Yeah, really enjoying it. Overall, being at the club's just an amazing feeling. So, should I keep? Sorry.
Yeah, keep going, mate.
Sorry, I don't know what was going on. No, it's been great. Really enjoying it, and really enjoying my time at the club. Obviously, we didn't get off to the best start, unfortunately, on Saturday. But other than that, it's been really good.
Of course, the manager was quite critical of the players on Saturday, but he singled you out as one of the players who had a positive performance and played well. What was it like hearing that?
Yeah, it was really good confidence, obviously, to get backing from your own manager. I think the overall feeling on Saturday was disappointment, obviously, because I want to come on the team that's winning and help the team win. So obviously to draw in the end, obviously, wasn't good enough, and we understand how critical it's been since then. Obviously, with the media and the fans, obviously weren't happy, but that's expected because we need to win games, and we know it wasn't good enough.
Did you see a response from your teammates in training yesterday?
Yeah, I think since then the boys have reacted really well. Obviously, training's been good. Overall atmosphere at the club's been really good. But I think because there's so many games here, you just need to keep that up. Obviously, it's a big game tomorrow night. We'll need to turn our focus towards that. So everyone's recovered really well, and I think we're just looking forward to the challenge tomorrow.
Just last one from me, you mentioned that big game, Champions League game at Ibrox tomorrow. What would it mean to you if you're able to play your part in that, and perhaps from the start to?
Yeah, obviously it'd be great. It's a huge fixture. I think we did really well to get past Panathinaikos, obviously, because that was a difficult tie. So I think it's a really good opportunity for us to go get through in the competition. So no, I'm really looking forward to it, and obviously if I can play my part, that'd be great.
Well, how are you finding that step up? No disrespect to Dundee, but it's another level coming to Rangers. You mentioned that scrutiny you get from fans and media. How are you finding that step up in club?
Yeah, it's different. Obviously, like I was saying earlier, I think it's almost a different world through here than what I'm used to. Like obviously, every game's so much bigger, the pressure and everything. But I just take everything as it comes. To be honest, I don't get too involved in anything. I just keep myself out of it, and what happens happens. I just need to give my 100% and know I've did as best I can, and that's all I try and do.
When the manager is so sort of open and honest with his criticism post-match, is that a bit of a shock to the system for the players, or is it more understandable just given what was seen on the pitch on Saturday?
No, definitely. I think we all understand it was justified because we weren't good enough. The expectation here is to win every game, and we didn't do that. Obviously, I think Rangers haven't won the last 4 starting games of the season or something, which isn't good enough. Obviously, we need to try and improve that, and I think the expectation was we would win on Saturday within the group as well, and we didn't do that, and I think the performance wasn't good enough in general. So we understand the response from him, and obviously we just need to show that it's kind of motivated us to do better in future.
Did the players maybe have some honest conversations between themselves over post-match or maybe yesterday after training, just to discuss what maybe went wrong and where things could be fixed?
Look, I think it's still early stages. Obviously the manager's just come in, still implementing all those things, but I think as long as we do what he's wanting and try as hard as we can, I think we'll be fine. And obviously I think we've tried not to dwell on Saturday too much. We all know it wasn't good enough, but we can't go back and change that now. And I think the beauty of it here is you just have so many games, and like the game tomorrow just came around so quickly, so we all need to focus on that because it's a massive fixture.
Were you surprised, Lyle, that the manager made the comments they did after the first game of the season? Normally we hear that sort of thing a few weeks into the league season.
I think, to be honest, it kind of just set standard. Obviously we know it wasn't acceptable, but it's just him reiterating that he wasn't happy, and we all knew it wasn't good enough. Obviously the fans' reaction after the game showed that, but we knew within the team themselves it wasn't good enough. So no, I think obviously the comments were fair. Everyone doesn't have an argument against them because we know it wasn't acceptable. So no, I think obviously it's fine. We just need to get over it and move on to the next game.
How big is this game tomorrow night for some of those guys that he's referring to perhaps prove them wrong?
Yeah, it's massive. Obviously, like I say, I think we got through a really tough game in Panathinaikos. Obviously both legs were difficult games, and you could also look at that as how we struggled on Saturday, but I think we've got a big enough squad that we should cope with that. So I think people just need to move on. I think obviously it's not the start we wanted, but it's a massive game and it's came around so quickly, so everyone just needs to work hard again and do as best as we can and hopefully get through this tie.
The manager praised you for basically showing energy and not when you came on. Is that almost kind of strange because you do that anyway when you want to get praised for scoring, and that should be a prerequisite, shouldn't it?
Yeah, well, from me, obviously, from my point of view, that's just what I try and give as a football player. I try and give 100% no matter what's going on all the time. I'll always work the hardest as I can, so I think obviously that's just a given for me, but I think overall we just need to refer back to what we've done so far in pre-season and play good football and create chances, and I think we'll be totally fine. I just think we're off to a bad start, but we can recover quickly tomorrow.
Is your feeling just to kind of keep a level head, stay calm, like there's no panic at this stage of the season?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's so early in the season. Like you say, we're already through a big tie against Panathinaikos. Obviously, Motherwell again, we know it wasn't good enough, but we just need to put it behind us now and focus on tomorrow.
Do you quite like the fact that your signing here is almost kind of under the radar? I think there's been 9 new players. You're maybe the kind of most low profile of the ball. Does that quite suit you? You can just go about your business and try and get into this team?
Yeah, definitely. Look, I wasn't going to be the massive signing that Rangers were bringing. I never expected that coming from a small club like Dundee, but I just know what I can bring, and hopefully I can implement that at Rangers and just do as well as possible for them.
The manager said you feel ready to start if you got the opportunity?
Yeah, definitely. You always need to feel ready. You always need to feel confident in your own abilities, and I've always said that I am, so if I happen to start then I'd be delighted, but obviously I think it's just all about, as a team, we need to get through, and that's all I'm looking to do.
The manager just said, given what happened on Saturday, that there may well be opportunities for players to go in that didn't start on Saturday to go in tomorrow night. Does it feel like you've maybe got an opportunity tomorrow to go out and make an impact? Does it feel that way to you?
To be honest, I don't know. The manager keeps everything quite close to the chest, so I couldn't tell you if I'm playing or not. If I play, then great. I'll try and do my best and hopefully help the team win, but again, I don't know, so I can't answer that, sorry.
Last couple guys. Happy?
How big a draw was the Champions League? We are deciding to come to this club. Nights like tomorrow night are possibly one of the big attractions for you.
Yeah, I think obviously, I know Rangers are a massive club anyway, they play massive games, but it just came to be surprised to me is how quickly they come around. To be honest, a week ago we were playing our first pre-season game and now we're straight into Champions League qualifiers, so it's big, but no, I'm just really enjoying the challenges and hoping to be able to contribute as much as possible.
Aye. Talks well, Robert. He's talked well in an interview. I don't know who asked that question. If a manager picks you tomorrow, do you think you're going to be ready? What do you expect him to say? Robert, what do you think? You expect him to say, no, I'm not ready. No, I'll not be ready. Manager better not pick me. I'm absolutely shitting myself to go out and play tomorrow for Rangers.
Yeah. I don't think he was going to do that, was he? You hear me, pal?
Yep.
Good. Yeah, I don't think he was ever going to do anything like that. The lad plays really, really well, and he talks well. You'll see how that boy's going to be a big hit at Ibrox. I really do. I think he's all right, you know. A wee bit short of pace because of the start of the season. But my goodness gracious, he's got a nice way about him. Lovely speaker.
He spoke well. I think he's a different type of player, and we've not had a chance to really see him much in the team. So at the end of the day, I think he might be a change bridge that he might make tomorrow. I'm not sure, but he goes about. He's looked busy. He came on, he put a tackle. I think he get booked straight away. He came on the park, didn't he, on Saturday?
Exactly. 1 minute.
Was it the first minute? I know. I thought he'd just come on in and he get booked. But listen, he's going to go out and try. He wants to fight to get in the team. He had a shot at goal from outside the box. We know at Dundee he scored a lot of goals and he had quite a lot of assists. And it's about him fighting his way in the team. I know the manager's obviously had an idea of who he wants to start first, but I think he's got a chance of featuring tomorrow night.
Well, I actually hope for him. I hope whatever he wants, if he wants to play, I hope he gets it. But my thoughts on all of it, as far as the tomorrow night's game is, we want to have our best team available, fit and available, and that's who we need to play tomorrow night. We need to have our best team on the park. I don't think we could afford to not have. If we go down to that level where we're not getting our best team, then I think we got a bit of trouble. But if we've got our best team there, at least it's going to get a chance, and they're going to go out and play. That's what I think. And that boy, because of injuries or anything else, fights with the manager, usual nonsense that goes on in football. We'll see. There's going to be a lot of players in the Rangers desperate to play tomorrow night, and we'll be disappointed if they don't get it. Really disappointed.
I don't think any of them can really complain, Robert, if they're not involved tomorrow night. For what they put on Saturday. And if I'm honest, I've not been too impressed with Rothwell either. I know he looks tidy on the ball and nice wee passing and that, but I want him to pick the ball up and be driving forward at times. Looking like he's chasing players down, and I don't think he's up to fitness yet. But I think he's looked a wee bit off it at times as well, as in the work rate off him.
Actually, to be honest with you, Southside, I was actually quite keen to see how Rothwell fared. When he signed, I was actually quite looking forward to see how he fitted into the system. It's clear that he's kind of sitting in front of the back four, playing that 6 role. And I know you're saying there about trying to see him get forward and drive with the ball. The games against Panathinaikos, he kind of just kept it simple, broke up play, and then just passed it away. Kind of clear the danger. I don't think it's in his kind of role and play style to drive forward. I don't think, as you're saying, he's certainly not got the engine for it. And again, he's probably another one that's lacking still a bit of fitness, which can be said for a few, but I still think he'll be in the squad tomorrow night. I actually still think he'll start, but it seems to be that's the player who kind of sit, and then the ones just kind of beside him and in front of him is the 2-8s. They're kind of up for debate. Obviously, I still think Raskin will be one of the players. And I've already said I think Lyle Cameron will come in, mainly because we spoke earlier about Diomande not showing his kind of composure or getting forward with the ball from what I seen with Lyle Cameron, we came on against Middlesbrough pre-season. He got the ball, drove forward, used his body well, and although he's not built with the height or the strength, he held it up well and took a couple of hits, got forward, and just had a different burst of energy. So that's, I think, he'll come in. But you're right, I don't think there's many that can complain. The only issue is we can't change a whole team. There's players obviously that aren't going to cover all positions, but I certainly think there'll be maybe 2 or 3 changes tomorrow night.
Aye. Listen, I know what his job is, and I agree. I just thought more pressing, shutting down, be right on him, man, get a tackle. And a few times I've watched him, I thought his work rate wasn't as good as what it should be, and he wasn't getting about the park as mobile as maybe he should. But I know it's early days. I know he's got a good touch and he's technically a good player, and he'll probably get better. But you're only judging on what you're seeing now. And if I'm judging for what I'm seeing now, I'd be looking at it and saying, I'm playing Nico Raskin Bridge. I'm playing him out of position. He is my number 6. If I looked at what Nico did last season under Barry and that towards the end of the season, and then when come on, eventually gave him a more regular run of games, his form actually picked up. And I think at the moment, if you were giving me a choice of playing one or the other, I think at the moment Raskin looks far better at the number 6 than what Rothwell has. I'm not saying that will be the case as it goes on, but at the moment, I just think Raskin will not get enough out of it, and I think he would if you played him in the 6. Rothwell, I understand, is only playing so long and then coming off. But at the moment, I don't think, I know you've got to, he's his man, he picked him, he's bought him, he's going to play him, but at the moment, I just don't think Rothwell's even doing enough either, to be perfectly honest, Bridge.
Yeah, I think he's suffering. I had said it a wee bit earlier. He's suffering a wee bit from the fitness side of things. I think once you see that boy fully fit and match fit, you're going to see a different type of movement from him. But I'll echo your words that you said when you said that I would rather see what do you call him, Raskin on, and I would as well. That's my honest opinion. I would rather have Raskin in my team than Rothwell at the moment in time, this moment in time. But once again, we saw Raskin. I don't know whether it's because of the odd position he's been asked to play or what it was, but for him to get taken off and maybe took him off because we need him for the midweek game, if you follow what I mean, then I'm sorry, that's not right. To all intents and purposes, he is one of our better players, if not our best player when he's on form. I don't understand it. He gives so much to the game, scores goals, makes goals, good header of the ball, good breaking things up. And of course, we never saw all that. But my goodness gracious, for me to sit there and watch and see my basically, he should be the captain of the team at the moment. To see him getting asked to go off the park and to be replaced by someone, wow, that's a statement, right enough. And of course, the same with Diamande, who's supposed to be one of our better players as well. Imagine getting substituted in our game against Motherwell. Wow, must be tough, eh? Must be tough.
It could have been done to, like I said, playing the game in the heat and that, and travelling back, and just the game at 5:30. I'm only using that as a slight excuse, but some of them might have been tired in the legs. And the sports science mob would have looked at their stats and all that, and if we agree that he might have been having a dig, I think he could have been having a dig at 2 or 3 players, maybe even 4. Danilo could have been one, and most people were taking it as he was having a dig at Diamande and Raskin. So they took him off because either they weren't following instruction, they weren't running enough, self-preservation they called it. So if if it's they two, then they came off because they weren't doing what he asked, Robert, and that's the sole reason. Otherwise, it was because we weren't competitive enough in there, and I thought the team in certain parts it started to look tired. Individual players that had played a lot and played the game in midweek, I just thought some of them did look tired, and he wanted an intensity, and I think the only way to get that was to bring on subs.
I think had the game been 2 or 3-0 in our favour and we made the subs that we did, we wouldn't sit and question or scrutinise them as much. I think it's because it's been done by the virtue of the way the game's going. It's still at 1-0. It's always a dodgy scoreline, no matter who you're playing. But to take off your 3 midfielders again, if it is down to keeping them for tomorrow, fitness from Wednesday, just recovery, or they just weren't doing the instructions, it could have been a number of players Southside. It could have been anybody on that park, really. Again, obviously, Butland is probably the better player, and that's, again, saying something that it's been 3 competitive games and you're avoiding your goalkeeper for all 3. So there's possibilities of what it could have been. If it does boil down to not listening to instructions and not doing the tasks that you've been asked to do, then if he was to make wholesale changes tomorrow night, are you going to really change your midfield 3 for another midfield 3 who haven't started the game yet? And I know what you're saying about, when what you're saying, you would play Raskin as a 6 over Rothwell. If you do that, who's your 2 midfielders in front of him if you were to do it for tomorrow night, for example?
Well, I was doing it tomorrow night. Because he's got the experience and stuff, and you expect him to turn up, I'd probably Diamandi would probably keep on that side, and I'd probably fling in Lyle Cameron. You could have an argument for Bizrami. Would he come in because he can work to instruction? Bizrami, will he run? Will he do the effort? He usually does when he comes on the park. So I think either Lyle Cameron or Bizrami in there wouldn't matter. If Hazegard's fit and obviously ready to go, he is going to take one of the positions, Robert, I believe, anyway. He is coming in to play either left or right of the midfield. So either in the long term, going forward, Diamandi, I think, or Raskin is going to come out that position, in my opinion, Robert.
Well, I agree with you, mate. I said that to Ox night in the show, that when Asgard's fully fit, the way I was looking at it, the way we've set up and played, it would have been a midfield of Rothwell, Raskin and Asgard going forward. But I take your point on board about the natural 6 and what Raskin can offer compared to Rothwell. And again, I suppose when you look at the game against Motherwell, do you really need a 6 that's just sitting and protecting a back 4? I suppose you do if you're protecting a 1-0 lead and the teams that you're playing against is hitting you on a counter and hitting your weak side. But if you look at what Raskin can offer you in that 6, and I take your point on board that there is a couple of options in there that we can do. Again, by Rami, Barron I've not been impressed with so far from what I've seen of him. By Rami, I'm still unsure if Bayrami's a midfielder or a wide player, to be honest with you. He seems to be this kind of free role player that doesn't like a strict rule or position. He just likes to free roam. But I certainly think going forward, it's Asgard, and then the way it's going, the other 2 positions are up for debate. But initially, for me, it was looking as if it was going to be Rothwell, Raskin, Asgard. But obviously, that can't happen tomorrow night because Asgard's still out. So I'm looking forward to seeing him though when he comes into the squad.
Aye. Well, I was going to come to the bridge here. Smurf, I'll come to you. How you doing, pal? Good to hear you on and join us.
Aye, not bad. I'm not bad. How's yourselves? Was it all well?
48 hours is... You can recover a bit in 48 hours, mate.
Aye, so I was just wondering how what you saw. I was a bit disappointed in his post-match rant. It's the first game of the season. Things haven't went well. He picks a team. Obviously, you know, his announcement was late. Probably it disrupted the plans for a pre-season, etc. Maybe they're not as fine-tuned as they would have wanted them. But ultimately, that man picks a team. Simmet picks a team. And when he dug out the players, he never dug out any signings. He dug out legacy players. Which for me could create a divide in the dressing room. He's not in a position where he can just swap players in and out willy-nilly, because even the players that are there, some of them only have the requisite quality and we need to get rid anyway.
All right, hold that thought now, because we're going to come to the tune, right?
Okay.
And we'll come back to it. And then I'll start off with Bridgeman and we come back in your good self, right? So if you would like to go and mute, it'll be time for the tune, and I'm sure Rob Hall will be happy right on YouTube. So take it away, folks.
Sure, I was dreaming of old Ibrox, of her slopes and great grandstands, and I dreamed about the Rangers, the best team in the land. When my memory suggested of a vision bright and clear, of the strange things that would happen if we had the Rangers here. Now if the road to Ibrox Park way up the Shankill, and Brian Laudrup came from Sandy Road, and Alistair McCoist came from East Belfast, and old Belfast became then old Glasgow. If the Rangers met the Celtic up at Windsor, sure no green flags at that game they would appear. Ulster's sons would never roam, and all the boys would stay at home if we only had the Rangers over here. I dreamed about her Ulster men who wore the shirt of blue, Bertie Manderton, Sam English, Norrie Hamilton, McCandless too. I have dreamed of Whitey McDonald, who came from Lisburn town, and the greatest Billy Simpson, who never let them down. Now if the road to Ibrox Park way up the Shankill, and Brian Laudrup came from Sandy Road, and Ali McCoist came from East Belfast, and then old Belfast became old Glasgow. Met the Celtic up at Windsor, then no green flags at that game they would appear. Ulster's sons would never roam, all the boys would stay at home if we only had the Rangers over here. If we only had Glasgow Rangers over here.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972? It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Aye, I'm sure. I think that one went down quite well on the YouTube feed.
And here.
Aye, enjoy that, Bridge.
Oh, aye, oh, I love that stuff.
Aye, if only had Brian Laudrup, eh?
Oh, my God.
What was I going to say? But you will carry on. I would just take for what Smurf was saying. Do you think he never named any players, Bridge? But he said he looked at videos for last year and last season, so you can take it that he was talking about probably the players that he hasn't signed and that weren't on the park at the time that he brought on. So, but do you think, is Smurf saying, do you think he was right in calling them out, or do you think he should have kept it in-house and said it to the players and came out and gave us as fans a lot of nonsense like some managers have given us in the past?
Well, I don't know whether he's trying to endear himself to the fans, because in some instances, half of me says you could get them into the training room and pull them into your office, do whatever you need to do, rattle them up or whatever, shout at them, or tell them the truth. If you don't improve, for 3 weeks, you're gone. We'll get rid of you before the season ends. And that's what he could do. These kind of things he could do. But, you know, it's so serious when he comes out and comes out in an interview and he says these things, and it can only be the ones that are hanging about. Absolutely no chance of getting transferred. I don't know what they're going to do with him, and he doesn't know what they're going to do with him. But if he puts it out like that, is that a message to the board? Look, I don't care what it is. We need to get them out, get them off the wage bill, pay them the money up front and tell them to go, whatever it is, you know. I don't know, pal.
Well, obviously, I mean, the support split with him, let's not be kidded. He's not got much kudos in the bank. There's people that will probably just look at it and think, well, I didn't fancy him. I don't think he was the right guy for the job, but they're entitled to their opinion and it might be proved correct. And we had to get after a flyer, Smurf. We had to try and see an improvement. And the thing he's questioning was players in the team hiding and no wanting the ball, which other managers, and I have said it on here before, I've watched Rangers players do that in the past under other managers that are still here, and some have now left, but some of them do go hiding at times, and you can see it's easy to go and stand next to an opposition player and not want the ball, you know. I think it's right to call it out the now. I was quite happy he's called it out, Smurf, if I'm honest. I don't care. I don't care if it's Raskin, Diamandi, or if it's anybody else, if it's Danilo or Tav or anybody else. I'm not worried. He said there's non-negotiables. He told us when he took the job, the team will work hard, they'll run, and they'll work hard. And how many times have I said on this show, I felt Rangers players cheat me in the Rangers jersey or 90 minutes. So I'm expecting them to work hard, but I do believe that I think we're tired, and I think we didn't work as hard as we should have because we got muscled off the ball and we just didn't put the work rate in. Certain players just didn't do their job on Saturday, which led to a goal.
Aye, yeah, I don't disagree with a lot of what you're saying, but ultimately I looked at a Motherwell team that played a very similar style and system that he's trying to implement, and he get beat at that. He picks a team. I think Jeffrey is a shoe in at left back, but he'll no pick him for whatever reason. I think Raskin, what we saw for Raskin at number 6 last season, there's nothing for Rothwell so far to suggest that he can exceed what Raskin was delivering in that role. He's no came up anywhere near the standard that Raskin had set last season, so I've no idea why Raskin's no in that position, other than it's no his man. I think Diamandi's playing in the wrong side of the pitch. You could go on and on, but ultimately, he's one game in, and he's alluded to in that interview or that rant that basically how it sounded to me was that you know he's some of these players are responsible. You know, they've chucked it or they've hid, if you like, with other managers, with Barry, and he even referenced Clement, and it won't be him. Now, have you seen that? He's calling it out, but I just saw a guy that was under pressure. Day one, game one of the season, and he's reacting like that. And you'd expect that, you know, when it's a bit nip and tuck towards the end of the season, and maybe you're challenging and you can see it slipping away, you could maybe understand him reacting like that then. But he's got a full season in front of him. He's referencing players that are on the pitch. The guys that never played didn't influence that game. So therefore, he's guys that it's Tav, it's etc. etc. These are the people he can't go in and go and pick them and then blame them for a game if they get beat. So I think he's made a rod for his own back, and I think he looks like a boy that just can't cope, will not cope with the pressure of Rangers. That's what I go for.
I think what I got for it, I'll come to Robert, what I got for it was, I've seen him do a couple of interviews. I heard the one with Gary Lineker had done, and he'd done that one before he got the Rangers job. He talked about stuff, and he talked about being a player, and he says, all I want is honesty. He said, you've got to be honest with players. And he said, in the first job he done, he wasn't honest. He said, and it didn't feel right with me. So he said, I'll be honest down the line. Now, whether that extends to coming out and telling the support in a press conference or no, he'll not obviously say certain things, but I think he's just putting a marker down there, Robert, that you work hard and you're running this team regardless of what's happening. And if you don't, then you'll probably not be picked in my team going forward.
I said the other one, mate, it's risky, but I don't mind it. And I take on board as well what Smurf's saying, that he's just in the door and he's coming out with a statement like that this early on. I'd rather he come out and say that now than when we are chasing or losing a title when it is nip and tuck. If there is an issue that he can identify now, say it as it is, go and get that reaction before it becomes too late. As I said earlier, it is a marker to the players that he's not messing about, and I honestly don't mind it at all, because it just emphasises the point that no player or manager, for that fact, is bigger than our club. So no matter who you are, how long you've been at the club, if you're not doing what's been asked, then you won't get picked, you won't be in the squads, and so on and so forth. So I don't mind it at all. And again, he's mentioning, as Smurf said, these are legacy players. It's the legacy players that we've mentioned numerous times on this show for the past 2, maybe 3 seasons that have cost other managers their job, and he just doesn't want that to be him. So I don't mind it at all that he's saying it as it is. Again, if he continues to pick the players, then you can question it. And that's why I think tomorrow night, when the team line is announced, it'll be interesting to see what players from the weekend play. And if you do process of elimination, you know he's not talking about any of his signings that have come in this summer. I doubt it'd have been Butland, because he's had 3 games, as I said earlier, that he's been called upon several times, more than we'd like. So that leaves Tavernier, Dowell, Raskin, Diamonde, Danilo. And they're all players in there that we have mentioned before that we should have sold or said thank you for your time and your efforts and moved them on. So I don't mind it at all. And again, it will continue to be these same players if we don't do something about it.
Well, that's the thing, he can be questioned on, Bridge. You know, come to Smurf, I think Old Davies on his way to join us in as well. Bridge, for me, I don't get the logic. I know he's unsure in there about Jefty, but he brings a balance. And against Motherwell, I think he could have been trusted to play left back, and I think it would have been natural to play Aarons at right back. Davey, I know you're in. We'll come in a wee second, pal, right? So I think now he's got to start to pick the team that gives us the best balance. Otherwise, he will be criticised when results don't go our way. Aarons doesn't look comfortable in the left back position. Aarons should be in the right back position. I think any time the brief sightings we've seen him, he's looked a lot more comfortable in there. He might give you that drive when they play the full back comes inside them, and Tav received the ball. He went a wee bit forward and then he sort of cut it back again. He didn't play the forward pass. Maybe players weren't available at that time in space the way they should be, but maybe Aarons would give that drive a lot further and maybe go and create. He can take a man on. He was a flying winger, fullback for Bournemouth. So he's got a bit of speed about him and stuff. So I just think he'd look more comfortable, and I think it's time that we have to start sorting it out.
A good shout. It's a good shout, Paul. I noticed that Robert never mentioned Suter, and when he was discussing that there now. He's one of the players that I don't have the greatest faith in. Although I do say he gets his boot in, he gets a wee, makes a good block, like on Saturday there, a tremendous block. And maybe even a tackle, but you could maybe tell us about that. But I think if somebody could just think about this, I think there was only 4 new starts, right? So 7 of that team were all from last season, and how many did we put at the door this season? So there's 7 players were on that park who played for us last season. And we've brought, how many players have we brought in? 9. I'm not saying all of them would be available to play. But my goodness gracious, to only have 4 players in your new players in your first game, it's quite incredible to think about that. Actually, I'm not kidding. No, it's just the way I see it outside. I think it's crazy, and I think he's building a sort of a nest for himself there, where it could all collapse if he goes on the way he's going on. To me, the most obvious is that the defence. They might have looked good on paper, but the defence weren't great. And I think I've said it before. It's time Mr. Tavernier said bye-bye. And then you can move that boy who's not a left back, but he's supposedly a good right back. You can move him over to the right. And then you get Yefty back in. If you like Yefty, he needs to turn up, because he's got a problem. If he doesn't turn up, then he's not going to get played, and so on and so forth. I'm hopeful the manager's got other things in mind for the left back position to give him competition. That's all.
Maybe Davey will get his boots on tomorrow night. All right, Davey, how you doing, pal?
I'm doing fine, guys. Good evening, Southside. I was going to say Albert, no, he's not there. Bridgeman, Robert, and Smurf.
It's old Bridgeman, it's there.
I heard you, Bridgeman. I heard you. Yeah, great points, guys. But I think we're just slightly getting ahead of ourselves here. I mean, we can criticise a lot of things about that game, an awful lot. But I'm with Suicide regarding I think they had emptied their tank out in Greece. They were up for it the first half, 25 minutes. I was very satisfied with what I was seeing. Second half, they started to fade out a wee bit. I think he's only playing what his cards are allowing him to play. I'll criticise him regarding, and just what Smurf was talking about, and Robert mentioned it, and you mentioned it, Suicide. I thought his rant, that's not a rant to me. That's him telling the truth. And that's what's been missing in a lot of our managers. And he's not trying to cover himself. He's just telling all the rest of them that are going to come into the team, this is no good enough. This is what you'll need to be. And the ones that we've got, we need to get them out, because we can't keep playing them. And as Bridgeman says, Tavernier, his race is definitely out the window. So once all these other ones, the bit of the jigsaw puzzle gets together, I'll see my real criticism for that for then. That's my moan for the night.
I agree. Right? We've only played 3 games. You said the players, 5 weeks, 6 weeks or something, right? And it's going to take time to build a system. I think, in just my opinion, some of the players did tire, right? But that still was done on the manager, because he picked them. For me, Davey, and I'll come to Smurf, the thing for me is we had a free kick that Tav took, hit the target, goalie saved it. We score a goal for a header. We have Gasman, Kieran Dale done a good bit of skill, which was unusual in the box, and crossed a lovely boiler, and he headed it into the goalie. We had Lyle Cameron getting a shot for the edge of the box, and we had Aarons busting through and sort of hitting a shot, which was a pass back, and Danilo hitting the crossbar. That was our only contribution, Smurf, in that whole game. We never created enough for open play. Like I said, we've got Danilo. Gasman was unlucky. We had one real good move in the first half. We played 4 or 5 passes, split them all wide open, and he just hit it by the post. He took the shot first time. But apart from that, we never really created, especially the second half. We were abysmal, and that's down to us not being able to work the ball up the park, or players no Dane is what he's alluded to, running in his space to receive the ball. But either or, it was a poor second half, and it's no good enough when you go to Motherwell when you've only got 5 attempts on goal.
Well, if you were to count how many attempts did we have in the 2 games in Europe before that as well, I mean, seriously, you'd be lucky to get between the 3 games double digits, and we've obviously scored 4, but it's no, there's a lack of creativity, and there's a lack of intensity, and that's all he spoke about with his system that he's going to be playing, is intensity and dominating the ball and dominating and putting teams under pressure and pressing, on the front foot all the time. And I just don't see it. I don't see it. What I saw for Motherwell was a guy playing a very, very similar system that he's espousing and doing it better with players that are supposed to be lesser lights. So I don't know. Ultimately, you can't judge him this early. He's got to be given time. He's got to be supported. He's got to get his own guys in and, get legacy players out. That's what he wants. But ultimately, it's him. It's no picking. Jeffy gives the team more balance. For me, tomorrow, I would drop Rothwell and bring Raskin back into the 6-0.
Smurf, can I come in on that? Smurf.
Right, David. See once you answer him. See once you come off, going to hit mute on your phone because you can hear the feedback on it.
No.
Right, answer Smurf. And you'll get put in mute if you start that. Carry on. No, you'll need to go on mute, right? Because we can hear feedback, right?
Getting red cards on this show. No, I was just like to say to Smurf what he's talking about. I think we've been disingenuous to Motherwell because they were right up for it, and he's seen the way we should have been. That's all he's trying to point to the rest of them, and that's no good enough. We know that's no good enough, but that's just we'll give him, as you said, he's got to get the other players in that he needs. There's too much. We're too lopsided now. And I tell you one thing, I wanted to say this since after the game. We need another captain. Nothing against Tavernier regarding what he's done, what he's been. We need leaders all over the park. And we're not even going to one. So I'm going on mute.
Aye, well, see, the thing is, right, we've used the two centre-backs, right? Big Giga looked all right. I don't think, sometimes his passing looks a bit chaotic, I think. Took a while to settle down. But Manny Fernandez that we've signed, I know he lacks the experience. I'm not saying fling him in tomorrow. But in order to get him on the park at some time, he's 24, Robert. He's 24 years of age. So he's 6'5". He is quite quick. Might be a wee bit raw, but if anything happens to any of your centre-backs, he's going to have to fling him in anyway. So at some point, I'd like to see him come in, even on the left-hand side, whether it be against the next home game, even at Ibrox against Dundee.
Aye, you're right, mate. And Brisman's will be happy because Brisman's kind of ideal centre-back, tall, physical, and he's got a bit of pace about him. And I know he's 24, but from what I've seen, he still looks a wee bit unsure, a wee bit unsteady. But again, that will only come through getting games. Again, I agree. I don't think he'll come into the squad tomorrow night. But as you say, there's got to be a time where he has to get put in. Because if an injury does happen, he is the next player in waiting. We've got no real options at the centre-back. NCL has been told to go and find a club on loan, not been in any matchday squads, wasn't involved in pre-season. After that, you're down to Leon King, and we know his situation. Again, been told to go and look for a club. The way the club's kind of handled his situation is a different story, but you kind of realise the vulnerability we're in still at centre-back. It's a weak area for a number of seasons. Giga, he's done okay. He's had some wobbles, but he's recovered well at times when they've happened in games. And Suter, as much as he puts his body on the line, I agree that sometimes he's got a mistake in him, like all players do. But recently, you'll notice yourself, Southside, he's driving out with the ball, which he can do, but he's getting caught out far too often lately in that middle of the park. And the way that our fullbacks are set up, you're basically one-on-one, and that's going to be a real danger going forward if that's how we play going forward. So it's an area still, I said it the other night, I think there's going to be at least a minimum of 4 players coming in, and that was including Antman, who obviously joined today. So for me, centre-back's still an area that we need to look at and shore up that defence as well. And I agree with Smurf, Jefty for me needs to come into the squad to give us that balance and put Aarons to right back, because that's what we've bought him, or loaned him in for, to play right back. And we can see that when he went there against Panathinaikos, the first leg, in that corner. It was him winning the ball back, getting out of that tight area that got us the second goal. So he's got attributes and abilities to actually play on his natural side. You just need to see the balance.
I agree. I think he'd look a far better player on the right. Bridgeman, I know you said the other week about Manny Fernandez. I think he's got to get game time and all. I think we've got to give him game time. And I think when you bring Giga in, you're going to keep him in there, and I think probably Suter. But the one that you could drop against Dundee at Ibrox after this European game and game a game and get to see what he's about.
Absolutely. I think that my centre halves would be DJ or something like that. The centre half is there, and Fernandez. Absolutely 100%. They're the two for me. But they have to start showing. Because so when they come on, you think, size of them. And then all of a sudden, a ball goes past them or something. And you think, why are you not getting that? You get overcritical. But seriously, they're the two centre halves for me. They're both, I think the guy for Wolves is 6'4" or something like close to it. And of course, Big Fernandez is just about 6'5". We're not going to get much bigger than that, really. But we're looking for a bit of strength of character, strength in the body, and for God's sake, read the game. Don't just hump the ball wherever you can, and I don't know whether Fernandez is going to be good on the short play, that the manager's looking for. I hope he is, but centre halves are notorious for not playing. But I was a centre half, and I'll tell you now. All I was looking for was who's my best player? Who's the player beside me, close to me? Get to him. Because you need somebody that can play football. And I, as a centre-half, can't actually play football. So you're looking for a midfielder. Easy ball to the midfielder. That's what you're looking for. Easy pass. But we tend to have our centre-halves and we're pushing up and they're in the opposition half. In the opposition half is not... I used to get headaches when I'm in the opposition half. And other than going for free kicks and corners, that's about all I would do. I would never wander into the opposition half because I'm no use up there, no use. And I don't know, I'm not trying to take any away for the players. I just think the way the players will play, at 6'5", you've got to dominate, that yard and a half, 2 yards round about you. You've got to dominate it. Nobody should be able to come near you. Nobody should get a hand on you, a foot on you. You kill them. Just absolutely kill them and go on with it. That's the way I see it. And we need... But if Butland wants to stay on the line, he needs to tell them he's going to stay on the line and let the centre-back say one in the front, one in the back. And don't let any other opposition players near him. And let's go on with it. Sorry, I tend to go on a wee bit too.
That's all right. Well, if you would just like to sit and wait a minute, we'll hear what Oliver Antman had to say since he's joined the famous Glasgow Rangers and he's done a wee interview today, so we'll hear what he had to say.
Oliver, welcome to Rangers. How do you feel now to be sitting here and be a Rangers player?
Yeah, thank you. I'm very excited. It's been a couple of hectic days, but yeah, today I'm gonna meet the first team first time. So yeah, I'm excited. When I first heard that they were interested, I was excited because it's a huge club, and you don't get this kind of opportunity many times in your life. So I was really excited.
Mm-hmm. How much did you maybe know about Rangers before that?
Yeah, I think the normal things. It's a huge club and one of the most successful clubs in Europe and in the world. So I knew that.
What have your conversations been like with Russell Martin and maybe how he sees you fitting into the squad here?
We spoke a little bit yesterday and today when I saw him. I think we will today later see some more tactical clips and how to play in the organization. But a few times that I've talked to him, it's been it's been a good first impression. He's a nice guy and seems to know a lot about football. So yeah.
What are you like as a player? What can people expect from you on the pitch?
I'm I'm quite fast, good dribbler. I like to score and assist a lot. So hopefully you fans will see that. I like to give a lot of energy in a team, and and I also think that I'm a team player. I do everything I can for the team, and I hope a lot of goals and assists.
Yeah, good. Can we just talk a little bit about your career so far? Sort of where did it start for you in football, and what are those early memories like for you?
Like when I was a kid?
Yeah, just where.
Yeah, I started in my hometown in a football club called Korson Palloseura. I started there when I was about 3 years old. Then I moved around Finland in different clubs. And I was actually in Spain. I lived there in Barcelona for a year when I was about 12 years old. I was there with my mother and my sister, and after that I came back to Finland, and some years later I went to Denmark in Nordsjælland for that academy first. I was 16 years old. I spent 6 years there, and then I took a step to Holland for Go Ahead Eagles, and I had a really successful year there, and now I got this opportunity.
Now you're here. That time in Denmark for you, you did spend quite a lengthy time there. What was that like, and how much did you learn there?
I learned a lot. The philosophy in the club is really special, and they trust a lot of young players, and you learn a lot tactically, and you get to play with a lot of good players. For example, I played with Diomande for many years. I learned a lot. That was also the place where I grew up to an adult. So it's a special place for me. As a footballer, I learned quite a lot over there.
Have you spoken to Dio about coming here?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I did. I asked him, should I come? Is it a nice place? And he had only good things about it.
Just on your time with Go Ahead Eagles, you mentioned that was a successful year there too for you. How was that as a next step? Because obviously you spent such a long time in Denmark and then really made another step there. What was that like? Yeah, great.
I had a wonderful year there. I enjoyed my time there in a team, and also living in Deventer. It was a fantastic year. It was a dream season for all the club. We won the cup there, it was great. It was also a very successful year for me. I got most assists in the league, and also I played the best football I've played this far in my career. So it's a wonderful place to be for a footballer. And I love my time there.
Now coming to Scotland and into Scottish football, what do you maybe expect from the game here?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot more physical, but I think that's something I can learn. I think I need more physicality in my game, so something I will definitely improve in here. And also, to play in Rangers, you have to win every single game. That's expected from you. So I think that's also a thing that I will improve on is the mentality part. That there's no you cannot skip a game. You know, every single game is a must win. So I'm expecting a lot of wins, a lot of good times, and hopefully a lot of trophies.
Yeah, the season has of course started here now. You have done a pre-season with Go Ahead Eagles. Do you feel good coming in here now, ready to go?
Yeah, I've trained with Go Ahead Eagles now for a little bit over a month. I've had like 5 training matches, also a 90-minute game last week. So yeah, fully fit, fully ready.
Yeah, how excited are you now to obviously meet your teammates and just get started here?
Yeah, I'm really excited. Like I said, the last couple of days have been really busy and stressful, but now to just settle in, I'm waiting for that also, just for the storm to calm down. But I'm really excited to meet all the players, and also I'm excited for tomorrow. first match in Ibrox. Heard it's a special place. I haven't even seen it yet. But yeah, I'm excited for everything that's gonna happen.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Smurf, first right winger that we've actually signed since, I know we signed Scott Wright, but hopeful that he might be the one for Daniel Candeias that might have a good career. He's 6 goals and 16 assists last season, so he's coming with a bit of promise.
Aye, it's a beggar's belief, isn't it, that Daniel Candeias, this is hopefully the long-term replacement for him. Permanent one, I should say. No, hopefully he carries on. Quite interesting that the other boy, the gas man, I mean, partly he doesn't set up a lot of assists. It's more goals he gets, but this boy's, as his numbers are all about assists, and of course that's what we need. We need creativity. We need people that are adding value in that last third of the pitch, and creating assists and getting a goal as well, because we badly need it. Well, we just had to look at the game the other day, created nothing, and so I believe he's quite tall as well. I believe he's about 6'1" or something, 6'2". So for a winger, he's tall as well. So yeah, bit of physicality. Hopefully he's got a good engine, and we'll see where it takes us. But for them having the best, the biggest number of assists in the Dutch league last year, that can only bode well for us. So I'm looking forward to seeing him.
If you probably look at it like Russell Martin said, if you probably look at it in a few weeks down the line, like you said, the team in 5-6 weeks will be totally different. You'll have Ant-Man on the right, you'll have Vazegaard in the team, I would imagine, in that midfield. You'll have Mikey Moore, say, wide left. You might even have a gas man playing in the other number 8 role. Be Mikey Moore wide left, or they might swap it about. It's a possibility. And that means you wouldn't have Diamandi or Raskin in your team unless in Rothwell, because eventually he's going to play his players and he'll want his look at a team. You'll only carry some of this old team that's been there for a while, so there'll be a few more casualties as we go along and we start to bring in. And if you can go and get that striker that you need, then it's going to be totally different looking, Davey, going forward. I think we just lost Davey there. Bridgeman, it's certainly going to look different, isn't it?
Yes, indeed it is, pal. Indeed it is, buddy. And everybody's going to be, obviously, it's not everybody's going to be ecstatically happy when it comes. But there's some people, myself included, I'm absolutely desperate to see my team playing well. Just wanting to play well. I like the moves. I love the way the speedy passing is just great. We did some of that last season, and it worked really well, particularly in Europe. The last couple of weeks there were to get through. It worked for us partially because we kept giving the ball away and allowing the opposition to take ground, And some of the things that you can do, you can't get it done because you've not got the space or the ground to do it. I just want my team to play well. I want to see them playing well. I want to see the style that the manager's trying to impart to them. I want that to succeed, because every single Rangers fan wants to see our team playing good, speedy football, and you get the ball in the net as quickly as possible. But don't run up to the corner flag and then come back and get to the goalkeeper. We don't want any of that. We really don't. But we tend to do something like that. So we've got weak points. But no, I think this boy coming in on the right is going to be, if he can do anything as good, anywhere near as good as what Candeias did for us, insofar as covering Tav or another fullback, if he can do that and play as well as he's supposed to, then my God, we've got a good player coming in, and welcome to the club. Welcome to the club. Did you hear? I think I heard somebody saying he's 6 feet something. Brilliant. I love it. I think the last one we had at that height in the wing was Orange Person. Do you remember him? Oh, maybe no. Maybe no. Orange Person. Big fella.
Aye, he comes. It sounds like an exciting player, Robert. I know you'd have a bit more detail on him. What he's been doing this season at Go Ahead Eagles, but it sounds as if he was happy to be here. I know he's part of the Finnish team as well. So it's a position we've needed to fill for a long time, and for the length of contract we've gave him, it looks like he's the man that we wanted, and now we've got him.
It certainly is. And I suppose it puts him into context when you say that now we're actually replacing Daniel Candeias, and you just think of how many managers and players we've had in that position, and we're only just finding somebody now to cover that position. He's what, 23, so he's got a good number of years ahead of him, obviously on a 4-year deal. I'd like to see that he's going to be here for the majority of that, and if he continues to kind of keep up his stats from last season, as you said, 6 goals, 16 assists for Go Ahead Eagles. If he keeps that up and hits the ground running, then always works well for the player and for us. Again, though, it's just that striker, as you said, we need somebody clinical to put it away. It might be that we've got somebody just now sitting on the bench, Dessers. He's not match fit, 50 goals over 2 seasons. You can't knock that back, but I still think it's an area that there will be movement. And there needs to be, in my opinion, just somebody more clinical. And I know it's hard to kind of replace somebody like Dessers that's got the 50 goals in 2 seasons, but that could have been 60 or 70 goals with the chances he missed. So I'm looking forward to seeing how Antman comes in. I think, as you said, he'll come into that right-hand side. I wouldn't be surprised at all if he does start tomorrow night. You heard him say there he's got 4 or 5 weeks under his belt training. Played a 90-minute game last week for Go Ahead Eagles, so certainly able to last a match. And it's a choice right now. You bring in this player who's only got maybe 1 or half a day training session in him, or Kieran Dowell. To me, I'd be putting Antman in all day long on that right side. But the players you mentioned there, mate, Antman, Asgard when he's fit, Mua, Gassaman, Wakasama, they're all attacking minded players. They're all young, they're all hungry to play. It's just how we all fit them in going forward, and that's what's exciting about that area of the pitch. But the issue is still at the back, so I'd like to see a wee bit more movement over the coming weeks about defence, particularly if Yefty isn't Martin's first choice left back. I think that's an area we need to look at, because Aarons has been uncomfortable in that area. Again, I'd move him to the right side because he does look more comfortable, and I think you'll get a better evaluation of the player we've brought in. But no, I'm looking forward to seeing Antman, mate. I did do a quick look at his stats, and I know stats can mean anything on paper, but he started 28 of 32 league matches last season, had 54 shots. What I did notice, Southside, is he's both footed. He had 26 shots with his right, 24 with his left, and 42 of his 54 shots were in the box. So he certainly likes to get in around the area and try and add goals to his game, but certainly assist seems to be the big thing. But he just need that missing piece of jigsaw up front.
Aye, I think Smith, don't know if something happened with the internet, he dropped out. Smith, you can rejoin with the same link. I don't know if you can do it for your phone, but I'm not sure, but you can rejoin with the link. You can try again and come back in if you want, pal. Bridgeman, aye, listen, I think he's added to the squad. I think you just put him on the bench, maybe. Depending on how he sees and who he is starting. If you're giving me a choice between him or Kieran Dowell starting, then I'd start him. But if he'd another idea to play somebody else on the right hand side tomorrow night, then I would go with that and have Antman to come on. If we need takers, Victoria Pilsen, there'll be a hard team tomorrow night. They'll probably set up with a back 5, but we need to we need to get passing and movement, and we need to be on the front foot. We can't be allowing teams we've allowed teams to have so many attempts. I think it's about 50 odd attempts on our goal, which is totally unacceptable, Bridgeman. So we need to make sure that we're tight at the back, but the passing and whoever's picked in that team, we have to make sure we can work the ball into the positions where we need to be dangerous, because that's been the problem. We've not been working them, and we've not been working well enough, and near did we take in the European game either. Chance creation is very, very poor.
But you know, how can I say this? I hope this boy Antman can come in and he can give to the team what Cherny gave to the team. And Cherny, I thought he provided great service to the centres, the boys in the middle, and also a big threat going forward and cutting in and shots at goal, scoring good goals. And I'm hoping that boy Antman can actually do that and, shall we say, replace him. I don't think we're going to ever get him. You know, I think Cherny was a cut with one-off. But the boy, I hope he can come in and do something like that, because we desperately need that quality on the wing. Desperately need it. I don't think Dowell, I can tell you now, I don't need to mess about. People know me. They know I don't like that boy at all. I don't think he should. And he looks as if he's got all the quality in the world, but for goodness sake, he hasn't showed it very much. And that's a sad thing. But, you know, this boy coming in, he might be the boy to do that. He'll show us what we've got and what we're missing. I hope, and I hope he's successful, of course. I'm looking forward to seeing it. I think everybody is, actually.
Aye, I'm looking forward to tomorrow night. The game's come quick, thick and fast, and I'm sure Ibrox will be rocking tomorrow night. And it'll be another experience for the players, but Victoria Pilsen will probably cause us problems. They'll be well set up. They've got that Vidra up front, I think, Robert, in it. It's played about England, and I know he scored against Servette. So he certainly knows where the goal is, the boy, because he's done it over a number of years at different clubs. So we have to make sure that we're certainly more solid at the back and tighter. But it'll come down to, I think do you think he'll just go with the same back four, Robert?
Personally, I hope he doesn't. Again, it's no secret. I've already said it earlier on. I'd go with Aarons at right back and bring in Yefty at left back. And it'll probably be the same two centre backs, Suter and Giga. It's probably the only changes I'd make. It just gives us that balance. Aarons does look very uncomfortable on that left-hand side. But on the right side, I think you'll get a better evaluation of the player himself and what he can actually contribute.
Just don't see him dropping the captain. He's got experience. He'll probably play him same as he'll play Suter in there for experience, and maybe why isn't he playing Fernandez as well and gave him a chance. We paid £3.5 million for the boy, so at some point we've got to see him. We can't keep him as a reserve, but he will want the Russell Martin team in time, and I think the more players we can get in, they will build it round about that. And Suter, with a year left, and I think he does all right. He's got mad moment in him, but I don't think it helps him playing on the left. But I think because he's stuck to it rigidly at the moment, Bridge, I think he's no dropping Tavernier tomorrow night. And I think the back four and Butland intact will be, but it will be tomorrow night starting.
Yeah, I think I'm not stupid. I think the players, the defence that he played against Motherwell, although poor at times, is probably as good a defence as you're going to get based on who you trust from a defence perspective. And then Tavernier as a captain, and we need to. I think it, of course, to my horror, it's going to take a lot to get rid of Tavernier from his team. That's what I think. So he's got a lot of trust in him, but you know, I think weakness. He's a big weak point, a big weak point for our team at the moment. He knows it himself, by the way. There's absolutely no two ways about it. He just knows it. You can see he'd drop him as soon as he makes a mistake. Instead of trying to go in and recover, things like that, he drops. And it happens. It happens in football to footballers. But I think you're right. He's going to go with the strongest team he can get. And at the moment, at the end of the day, we didn't lose on Saturday. We didn't lose. We played poorly and got and missed out on having a 3 points. So I don't know whether it's to be cheered or not. I'm kind of cheering on it. We didn't lose. That's the main thing. I think we need to look at it like that. Yeah, there's not much else I can say on these subjects.
Bring Dessers starts, Robert. Trying to bring Dessers in for the start.
After hearing this press conference today, no. I think he said today that he wasn't ready to start. He had an injury. He was kind of late coming into the pre-season training in full. I suppose you could have an argument that maybe he starts and does maybe 60 minutes if he's got that in him. He just offers something different to what Danilo can offer. I've said it before that I think Danilo is a striker that needs somebody beside him as a 2. I don't think he does the lone role effectively enough for what we're asking. You know what you get from Dessers on his own. So I don't think he would, but personally I would, even for an hour.
I think Dessers, for me, would probably start. I know we know what he can do, and you know what he can't do. And sometimes he does things that you think he can't do, like a goal at Dundee United, a volley and that. But listen, I think he leads the line better. I think if he can find his touch when you play it up to him, if he has one of the games, Bridge, I've seen a few in Europe, he's done really well, but most of the time it goes up and it comes straight back. But he's a different type of striker. I think he runs the channels, gets himself into scoring positions. But I think the team's got to help whoever is the striker. If it isn't, we need to create chances. That's without any question, because there's no point in putting him on. He'll just be like Danilo, he'll just chase about, and we're not creating anything for him. So it's the midfield's got to work. The defence to midfield has got to work crisply, and it's got to be quick. And hopefully we'll have players in certain areas that will hurt them, but we need to get them on the ball quickly and get the ball moving fast. So I think you could make 2 or 3 changes in Mora, but I don't think Tav will be one of them, Bridge. I think Tav's definitely playing. So do you see maybe Lyle Cameron possibly coming in?
There's a possibility, of course. And look, I wish the boy all the best. If he gets a game in a European Championship Cup game, Champions League game. Sorry, it's a great achievement for him, and I'm sure that he'll build himself up and worry the opposition. He can't come out and come on and have a really bad game at Ibrox. It's just it kind of it'll just stall his start at Rangers. It really will. He needs to play well. He needs to relax and do what he can do. But I don't. Any team that plays the Champions League football at this level, going in here, has got to be a good team. In general, got to be a good team. We are the difference there. We're not a good team unless we're going forward and the players are all interlinking with each other. We look fabulous. The football's great and it's a joy to watch. But most teams that we've played, including Motherwell, at times were completely outplaying us with good short passing round about us. So we need to watch out for that. We get caught out a lot last season with that. We lost games at home, lost games away, and because we're getting outplayed. We actually get outplayed by far less quality players than what we've got, and they just seem to be shadows at times. We don't want to be doing like that. It's a European game. Well, we know that because they just played one and got through a previous round. So it's all up to them. And for me, I think it's a huge, huge game for Rangers. And if we can do this, but to me, it'll be fabulous, utterly fabulous. And I think sometimes I said tonight, I was saying what I thought. I think I would like to see playing, but I'm maybe going a wee bit step too far, and I tend to step back and maybe I agree with you, Southside, when you said that about playing Tav. He will play Tav in all probability. Against my better judgment, he'll play Tav, and he'll play Suter against my better judgment as well. And that's the way it'll go. I just don't. It's not the time to experiment, of course. We shouldn't be just throwing Jeffy back in again in reality and moving that boy across. So they must go with the strongest team that's in his mind, and let's hope we can get there and do it. I hope they've learned from the previous games. I hope that the squad have learned how they're going to play it, what they're going to do with this short game, quick passing, and so on and so forth. What I don't like to see our team getting the ball at the back and hanging on to the ball, and then all of a sudden we're having to rush because there's 7 players coming up against us. It's just nonsense. So I wish them luck for tomorrow at games.
Aye, well, I'm sure Ibrox will be rocking tomorrow night. Looking forward to it. And if we can get a decent lead tomorrow night and we go through, even if it's a scoring draw or we get the victory, it would be even better. But to make sure we go through the tie, then Salzburg or Bruges, Club Bruges, are waiting for us in the next round, which I think is achievable. If we can get by Victoria Pilsen tomorrow. So looking forward to that, Robert, and it's a decent tie for us if we can get through this to try and get into the Champions League group stages.
It certainly is on paper. It looks favourable. No disrespect to Victoria Pilsen. I think this is a lesser opponent than what Panathinaikos was. I think we've had a tougher test in the last round. But certainly if we get past this one, then Salzburg and Bruges, obviously played Bruges recently pre-season, 2-2 draw at Ibrox. Would be an interesting game again. My worry would be Southside is we know what happened the last time we entered the Champions League. The team wasn't prepared, wasn't ready. My worry would be is if we're at that stage again just now with this kind of build that we're doing with the players coming in, or would it be the worst thing if we did drop down to Europa League? I get the financial aspect of the Champions League, the money and the glamour ties. But Europa League's been favourable to us in the past, so I don't see it as a bad point if we do drop down to that kind of level again.
I want to make the Champions League. I think it's we need to try and get there. Absolutely. I don't care. We've got to try and get there. The league, I want to win this league, and that's the most important. But we've done enough in the coefficient. We've worked hard and we've always gave it away at the last minute. So maybe this time we'll just have to do it the hard way, but get there and bridge. And I think we fully deserve.
Yeah, I agree with you there. We've worked hard and we want to get as far in the competition as possible. And it's my club, it's my team, and obviously I want to support them forever, never. But I want to be able to criticise them. But sometimes you can go over the top criticising. So I'm going to no criticise them anymore. I want the team that the manager thinks is the best team for the night, and go out there and play real nice football the way he's been trying to do. I don't know whether that's the same style of football he was trying to do at Southampton, and it worked for one season. Then he got up into the Premier League, and it didn't work. Just stopped working. So maybe there's lessons there for the manager to be at as well. I don't know, of course. I'm just saying that. So I just wish. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Yep. Right, we're getting there. It's that time of the evening now. So I'd just like to thank Smurf and Old Davy, who popped on earlier on and contributed to the show. So I'd like to thank them. I'd also like to thank everybody out there on the YouTube channel, Facebook and Twitter, and MixLR that people have been listening to the show, and I'd like to thank them for tuning in tonight. Robert, and then I'll come to what's happening tomorrow. I'll come to you first, Robert.
Just for having me on, mate. Good show tonight. Always a pleasure being on with yourself and Bridgeman. Looking forward to the game tomorrow night. Hopefully get a reaction from the players and a positive result to take us over to the second leg.
I'd like to thank Dougie as well for his voice note earlier on, what he sent in for the show. Bridgeman.
Yeah, buddy. What can I say? Fantastic night. Thank you very much. Thanks, big thanks to Robert for carrying me on here. And, what can I say about the techie boys in the background? Impeccable. That's all I can say about them. Can I just say to all the Rangers fans listening in all over the world, tomorrow night, biggest game of the season for sure. Biggest game of the season, and we need to do it. So everybody, please keep it going for the Rangers, because the Rangers really, really, really need us now. Keep it going.
Aye, can I just thank you two for helping us out tonight? Thoroughly appreciate it. It was a joy to do the show with bases. So thanks for that. Rangers Radio will be back tomorrow, I believe at 6:45 for the pre-show, and then we'll be on 15 minutes after the game finishes tomorrow night. So just to let you know that it's tomorrow night, we'll be on for 6:45. And I'd like to say, hopefully Ibrox will be up tomorrow night. Looking forward to it. I'm sure Rangers will get the win that's needed, and hopefully we'll see a better style of football. But as long as we get the win, that's all that matters, to take the lead for the return leg here in Prague. So look forward to it, and as always, there's only one team and one crown. Take it away, Fox.